So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this afternoon session on dealing with loss and grief. And my name is Raksha, and I will be guiding you through today's experience. And we really want it to be an experiential workshop. So I encourage you to get your pen and paper and just allow the next hour to just be for yourself. So as we have a bit of time, if anyone could just get their pen and paper or use their cell phones, the notes, because it will be a very experiential workshop in looking at this topic of dealing with loss and grief. So myself personally, I am a palliative care specialist, and I especially work with loss and grief and bereavement. And this program was especially created last year when the entire world, and South Africa in particular, in last year, January, when we were going through quite a challenging time of a lot of bereavement as we lost loved ones, be it our children or parents, friends, family. And it was a time when everyone was steeped in deep sorrow from that loss. And myself, also working and also helping communities at our meditation center. One theme that seems to stand out and really cause so much heartache, such that one feels so stuck in the experience of life, is when we lose loved ones. And so I remember last year in December, there was a deep feeling of sadness that was creeping in as everyone was losing loved ones, and especially at that time, December, when there were so many that were passing away, and it was such a heavy atmosphere. And I remember just sitting quietly and just feeling, how should I process this, having lost friends at that time? And as I was having that quiet time, a few thoughts came to mind. And this is the basis of that workshop. Because in dealing with loss and grief, we need to go deep and emerge powerfully to give the return to those that we had loved, to live their legacy, to continue to offer what they offered to us, to the world. And so this would be a wonderful way today, in the next hour. Join me as we journey through this program, looking at tools, physical, psychological, social, and spiritual tools to support us as we move through loss and grief. And so I'll invite you now, for the moment, just to sit comfortably, and we'll guide you through a little reflection and a relaxation just to prepare you for the next hour, and just to make that time for yourself. So I'll just screen share now, and feel free to allow the session to be interactive. We're a lovely small group, so we can learn together and share together. And it's perfect that whoever is here then is given the opportunity to feel safe in this group and to share. So I'm just going to screen share. I hope you can see my screen. And so to begin with, let's begin with a relaxation and a little exercise to become present in the moment. And this is one of our first tools that we can learn in dealing with loss and grief, just becoming present. Because often with loss and grief, we live in the past, we live in the future, with fears of how I will cope, but how about becoming present with all that I am in this moment? So just to sit comfortably and relax, and possibly you can cast your eyes on the beautiful scene in front of you. And as I'm seated here, I take a deep breath in, just filling my lungs with peace. I observe the easy flow of the air into the depths of my lungs as I gently breathe out all the stale air from my lungs. And as I take a deep breath once again, I feel a calm just flow over my body. Once again, I breathe in peace, filling my lungs with peace. And I breathe out. Again, I take a deep breath in, filling my lungs with peace. And I breathe out all the stale air in my lungs. I feel a wave of calm just settle into this body. I relax the tiny muscles of my feet, my legs, I relax the muscles of my stomach. Once again, I take a deep breath in, breathing in peace, becoming fully present. As I breathe out all the stale air in the very depths of my lungs, I relax the muscles of my neck and shoulders, my scalp, my face, my jaw. In this moment, I don't have to hold on to any masks, any roles. I can just be me. Absolutely present in this moment. I feel so thankful for this day, for this precious second, and the many minutes, hours, years of this life. And now gently, I bring my awareness back to this room. I can hear the sounds in the distance, and I become present. So thank you. So for those of you who have just joined us, we really want this to be an interactive workshop where you can interact with your pen and paper if you're too shy to share on the group. But the aim is that we will journey together looking at different tools to deal with loss and grief. And so I will just share with you some aspects that could help us. And the first is to acknowledge and accept our feelings and to recognize that it's okay to feel empty and sad. And so, you know, with the many, many losses that we may have had, sometimes we may reject these feelings, and people may make us feel that, why are you still feeling as you are, and why is it taking so long? And just to acknowledge the feelings, whatever it may be, and to just accept them, not to suppress them, but to accept the feelings that come in your experience. And then to acknowledge and accept those feelings, and to start taking steps to fill the void within. So as long as I suppress those feelings, ignore those feelings, they are not heard. And because those feelings are not heard, there's still a deep emptiness that can linger, a deep sadness. And so we need to be aware of those feelings of loss, and that those feelings of emptiness and sadness. But whilst being aware, I need to recognize that I need to begin to take steps to fill up the void within. Because if I don't take steps to fill that void, that emptiness will keep sucking in all my energy. It's like a black hole, or that vacuum. As long as I allow the vacuum, that emptiness to remain, it will consume all of my energy, and one loses sight of why we are here and what I could offer to those around me. And so the second step is start taking steps to fill up the void within. And the third tip is learn to grow from the loss. Every loss has a message. And so learn to grow from the loss. Every loss has a message. And so with the specific loss that I may be dealing with, be it with loved ones, and with each loved one, the message may be different. And if I become still and silent, I will learn to grow from that loss, and personally, in that relationship, begin to appreciate what is the message that this loss had brought for me. Because in life, people fill certain voids within us, and that is why we become very addicted to people. And we have many addictions in life, and it's wonderful to love and to be loved. But if the loss of that love cannot be filled with a love from within, and it becomes, like we shared, a vacuum, then I need to understand what message has that loss brought to me. How can I become more powerful and a master of my experience with or without individuals in my life? And so what is the gap within that this loss is wanting me to grow beyond? So in life, there may be many gaps that we fill with people, with things, with addictions. And can I understand the void and the message that this loss has brought to my life, so that I can take this message and fill myself up to compensate for that lack and that loss. And so to look at each loss as an opportunity to further develop the self based on that personal message that that loss has brought for me. And so that's something quite deep, but it is vital in helping us explore the depths of who we are spiritually and what we have to offer to the world. And as long as I keep being influenced and filling the void, I don't allow myself to share the full power of the self with the world. And so learn to grow from the loss, find the message in the loss. And another tip is then to replace the negative feelings with positive feelings. And so when one is accepting the feelings, the sadness, the emptiness, it's important to acknowledge and accept rather than repress and suppress, and then begin to take steps to fill the void, find the message in the loss, and then replace those negative feelings with positive feelings, because often, we can feel that sadness, and then in response to that sadness, we may feel that we are not strong enough and not adequate enough, and why should I be feeling this way? And we become very harsh in our response to ourself. And so, can I now then replace those negative feelings with nurturing feelings? If you had to console or support somebody who was going through a loss, would you have negative feelings towards them? Or would you embrace them with positive, uplifting feelings? And often with the self, we tend to be very harsh and self-critical. And as a result, this critical nature creates a deeper feeling of sadness, non-acceptance, hurt, and sorrow. And so, can I then support myself as I would support a dear friend, somebody who is grieving, who needs my support? And so, can I be a friend to the self? And then the next tip is to feel open-minded and move forward. So feel open-minded and move forward. So don't shrink your world, but open your mind to the bigger picture and the spiritual meaning of this loss in my life. And what is it coming to teach me? And how can I move forward from this loss? And the sixth tip is learn to become more emotionally stable, not just for yourself, learn to become more emotionally stable for yourself and those around you. Sometimes when we feel that, we really cannot do this for ourselves, but when we feel that there's a big world out there, and if we could do this not just for me, but for the others around me, So if I am a mother of a family, I have to move forward, if not for myself, for my family, for the other loved ones that are present. And if I stay in that dark space, I rob them of the role and the valuable energy that I carry into the roles that I play in my life. And so learn to become more emotionally stable for myself and for those around me. And then the other aspect, the seventh tip, is start evaluating your faith. So not just your faith in yourself, your faith in others, your faith in a higher being, your faith in life. So start looking at how can I deepen my faith in all these aspects so that I can feel more stable, I can accept and grow through this journey and this experience of life and this loss. So those were just some simple tips. Sorry, it seems to be busy here today with people ringing the doorbell, but those are some 7 basic tips. So can we look at that personally? But the aim of this hour is to personally look at aspects of grief and loss, and then work with it in an experiential manner. So I'm going to now take you into a little workshop. And as I said, pen and paper is always best, pencil and paper, or you can use your notes. But we really want you to journey with us in this experience that was created when there was a multitude of losses that was experienced when we were in the height of COVID in South Africa. This was a process that emerged to support the self, and it's an offering to support others. So I want you now to sit comfortably and just to remember the energy of your loved one fondly in their journey with you. So today you may have joined the session because you especially want to help yourself deal with a certain loss, or you possibly want to help others deal with their losses. But in this moment, can I ask you to choose one being that you want to really benefit from in terms of this relationship? And this loss has been quite extreme for you. So having lost this loved one in your life has been quite challenging. And so now let us remember the energy of that loved one fondly in their journey with you. So if we could use the following questions as we jot down spontaneously whatever comes to mind in this relationship. So firstly, I want you to remember your interactions and conversations with this being over time. Remember your last conversation with your loved one and write this down. So I'm going to play some gentle music. And as the music plays, I want you to just hold on to these thoughts. Sorry, let's put it softer. So I hope that's soft enough. So this is just some gentle music. And take your pen and paper and join me to choose somebody who you've loved and you've lost. And you want to take that step of courage today to really look at how you can grow through this painful journey. So remember your interactions and conversations over time with your loved one in their journey with you. And remember your last conversation with your loved one. Often that's a very precious conversation with many messages that they're sharing with you. And so now just take time and spontaneously just write about those interactions, those conversations, and your last conversation with your loved one, and write that down. Thank you. So I hope that brought beautiful memories back to you. And so what we want you to do now is to appreciate your loved one for who they are. Based on the previous exercise, reflect on the virtues of the spirit or the soul of your loved one. Remember the aims and passions and purpose of your loved one and write these down. So once again, just to reflect on the virtues of the spirit of your loved one. Remember the aims and purpose and passions of your loved one and write these down. So we remembered interactions, conversations, the last words shared. And now, what was the power they held, the virtues? What did they stand for? What were their aims and purpose and passion? And now let us appreciate your loved one for who they are. Can I spend now a few moments appreciating the energy they carried in life? And then can I take this energy to the world as they had generously shared their energy with the world? And so I'm sure in reflecting on your interactions and your conversations, the last words shared, and also in looking at the virtues and their passions and purpose, it really warms your heart, appreciating the immense energy they carried in life. And sometimes we may have forgotten to even appreciate or validate or encourage that energy within them. And only when they have left our physical world do we recognize that. And so today, can I appreciate that energy that they carried in life? And then holding on to that energy, can I then share it with the world? And what I want to do now is to guide you through a reflection of just appreciating this being in your life and all the energy they had carried with them. And so I want you to relax. I'm going to play a beautiful scenery for you. So there's an amazing sea and sun, and just sit back and I'll guide you through relaxation, a reflection on the power of this being and all that they played in your life. So I want you now to just sit comfortably and relax. And as I'm seated here, before me in this moment, I bring into my awareness this loved one that had played a valuable part in the journey of my life. There may be feelings of sadness, but it's okay. In this moment now, can I recall the many conversations, the interactions, the simple yet powerful experiences that I enjoyed in the presence of that one? The love, the laughter, the joy, the silence, the richness of our interaction. How quietly they touched my life. It was more than the roles that they played, but it's about the energy that they held. If I have to name their qualities, the qualities that shone so brightly like the sun whenever they walked into a room, what were some of the qualities that stand out? What were their passions? Their aims in life? What was the unique offering they held within that just flowed so beautifully into their life, into their relationships, in all their interactions? In this moment, I just hold on to this precious feeling of their energy, their virtues, their passions, their purpose in life. And I say, thank you. Thank you for bringing this energy, for living your life. And now let me take some of this light that you brought into my life and offer it to the world. Let me take some of this energy and incorporate it into my life, so I too live and shine bright. So thank you. So it will be wonderful if those of you who wanted to share those qualities with us, if you could write it into the chat. I know for myself, I was thinking of a dear friend who was such a humanitarian, a go-getter. He was so principled in how he wanted to live his life, and he wanted to make that difference. And I remember the last conversation with him was when he shared, that Sister Raksha, I feel I found my purpose now. I love what I do. And he was somebody who supported the work of Pelo Pepe, which is a train that went to all the rural areas of South Africa to inspire and to support in health. And he was such a passionate young man who wanted to make that difference, always uplift humanity. Even in his neighborhoods, his weekends were filled with opportunities to bring his friends closer to the experience of their trip, and never a moment lost to be joyful, a free spirit, and somebody who took everyone with him upward and forward. And so for me, that was the thought of someone, that really left an impression on my life. And so I would really encourage you now, those of you who would wish, to just type it into the chat, or even unmute and share the passions, purpose, the aim, the zest, the virtues of your loved one. I hope you've enjoyed that exercise, just reflecting, not with a sadness, but reflecting on the power and the joy of your loved one. So does anyone want to share? If you don't want to unmute and share, you can type it into the chat, or just hold that feeling then as we journey on into a few more exercises and tools to help one cope with the loss. And I know in the many conversations that I've had with individuals, the question that often arises is, where does that energy and quality come from? Is it from their body, their socialization, the family, the world? And yet you know that nowadays when you see little ones being born, they come with their own character. And you know it can't be their family, it can't be the world. Already at birth, you can recognize that there's a powerful character here. And the other question is, where does that energy, that being go? Another question is, will those qualities live on eternally? And so these are some questions that people have. And so, Lena, thank you for sharing about your husband. She shares that my husband's smile will never be forgotten. And I'm sure, Lena, as you reflect on that smile, you really can feel that smile come onto your face as well. And that is the power of appreciation. Can I appreciate and incorporate the energy of our loved one into ourselves and offer that to the world? So thank you, Lena. And so these questions, that energy of that being, where does it come from? Where does it go to? Will this energy live on eternally? And so there are many, many questions. And in my work in palliative medicine, one thing that I often remind those who are journeying with a life-limiting illness is that, the disease may do many things to you, but one part of you that it can never touch is your untouchable spirit. And so in life, so much will happen to us. Our body may fail us, we may lose, possibly even the body, we may lose money, we may have failed relationships. In all domains of our life, there can be loss. But can I understand the eternity of the spirit? Can I know that in the tangible, a lot may happen, but the intangible, I, the untouchable spirit, I'm beyond harm, I'm beyond hurt. I am untouchable. And so even those beautiful ones that journeyed in your life and you've lost, can you understand that their spirit is untouchable? And the understanding that we have at the Brahma Kumaris is that as you look at this picture before you, we have the understanding that we are an untouchable energy, and this is who I am. Not just the body, the costume that I wear. The body is like a dress, like the Pooh Bear I wear to play the part of Pooh Bear in the theater of life, or whatever roles or responsibilities I have to play. And I guess the word play is also wonderful. You know, can I not get too serious about the role and responsibility and get emotional and hurt and depressed and affected and influenced? But can I stay in the awareness that I am playing my part as a master actor in this drama called life? And so the awareness we have at the Brahma Kumaris is that the word human being tells us that we're more than just the human. We are the being, the energy within the human frame, the human body. And so, can I really now, even with regard to my loved one, understand that I am this untouchable light? They too are that untouchable light, that eternal, immortal light. The body may have perished, and it could have been suddenly, it could have been tragically, but their spirit lives on. And that brings great comfort to know that the spirit lives on. And in this closed system of the earth, that spirit is still present in this closed system and is available and does continue to offer their character, their passion, their purpose with the world. And so know that nothing is lost. I may have lost the experience of that being in my life, but that energy is still within the closed system of this play called life. And so to know that this untouchable spirit is a tiny energy that gives life to this body. And that is why, if you've experienced loss of your loved one, you would see that there they are, warm and breathing and aware. And when they move on, when the soul leaves the body, when the spirit leaves the body, it's as if that body becomes like a puppet, lifeless, and the warmth has gone. Even the face looks different. It's as if that character has left that part, and it's a costume that just lies before you. And so know that the costume is perishable, but the untouchable spirit is eternal and lives on and can still offer all that it offered to you in your relationship. And the eternity and immortality of the spirit is quite a powerful awareness to hold, not just for those that I have lost, but even for myself. It finishes all fear, all need to control. It finishes unstable emotions. It brings such a peace, such a calm, because I, this eternal spirit, I am peace. I am love. I am power. I am bliss. And I am truth. I am wisdom. And so I am love. I am pure consciousness. And so how often we seek all of this outside of ourselves and become disappointed, disheartened, disillusioned. But switch on that awareness of that untouchable spirit And then as a spirit, I can feel the light in my environments. I can feel that light even of my loved one who is not lost, but in this closed system of the play of life. And so that untouchable spirit. And so who loses and who gains? I lose in current time if I choose to. It's okay to mourn. I cry because I have lost. And so if you look at this play of energy, I lose in current time because I have lost that physical being in my life. But if you look at it, the world gains that energy. When I was reflecting on this amazing individual in my life, this amazing young philanthropist that I spoke of, when I was thinking with heaviness that the world lost such an amazing person and such a young man who could make a difference, who was uplifting humanity, who lived his purpose. But when I looked at it, I was feeling heavy, I was feeling sad because I felt I lost, the world lost. But actually, as an immortal, eternal, untouchable spirit, that being lives on. The body may have perished. And I comforted myself knowing that a more powerful role awaited that being. He had achieved what he needed to in his world as much as he could in that body. And even though the body was young and fit, another powerful purpose awaited that being, and he needed a change of environment to live that powerful purpose. So that soul has neither lost nor gained in their eternal energy. They just carry all of themselves to the next space, all the joy, the zest for life, the love for humanity, they carry that forward. And so when I have lost loved ones, can I recognize it's okay to mourn? It's okay to cry. And I did lose. But if I look at the bigger picture, the world has gained. And that soul has neither lost nor gained in their eternal energy. And that soul is still available to me. That eternal soul lives on, carrying the fragrance of who they are with them. And they merely have a change of dress. Like I said, the Pooh Bear costume. Now maybe they're wearing another character's costume. And they have a change of address. So when I first heard this, I thought it's quite funny, but it's true. So to understand that being that I loved so much, they live on. They carry all of who they are with them. And they merely change their dress and address. And so be comforted to know that their life was accounted for and they carry all of themselves with them powerfully to a new purpose that is beyond even what I could understand. And me wishing for them to stay in the same space is wishing to change destiny, and their destiny was bigger than I could have comprehended. So my comprehension of their limited destiny, was very limited. And if I want to really allow them to prosper, I need to give them that space to offer all of themselves to the next part in the drama of life. But what happens is that often we have many regrets. We often share that if only, and these are common words that we may hear ourselves say in our inner dialogue, and we often say, if only I had taken time to, if only I had told him or her. And there may be these regrets, but I love this one prayer that is the Ho'oponopono prayer, which says that I am sorry, please forgive me, I thank you, I love you. And so in life, it's not that we would have done everything as we would have wished. There is regrets. And sometimes we wish we had spent more time, we had shared certain words, especially if it was a sudden loss. But to in your mind, emerge that being and share the feelings that you have for that being. Say what you need to say to that being, and take that time to now, even if you did not have the time at that time. Because if we understand energy, energy is beyond space and time. So wherever that energy is in the closed system of the world, I can emerge that energy now before me. I can say what I need to say, be it to ask for, to apologize. I can then ask for forgiveness, and I can express my appreciation and love to that being, because a spirit is beyond space and time. And so I can engage in that subtle communication. I, the spirit, I can emit vibrations and energy that then can share from my heart what I wish with that one, because they are still within this closed space, and they are only one thought away if I emerge them as an energy in the presence of I, this energy. And so, talking about this is something, but it would be wonderful for me to guide you through a little reflection now to practice this. Because one thing that keeps people stuck in the sorrow and grief is the regret. So the regret often keeps people caged in that sorrow and grief, and they then don't live and continue to live in life. So I would like to guide you now through a little reflection on this. So I sit comfortably and I relax. And in this moment now, I become totally relaxed, and in my mind, I emerge this amazing energy that I am, like that beautiful sun on the screen before me. I visualize a warmth of energy just glowing in the center of my forehead. I acknowledge the actor in this costume that I wear, the untouchable spirit. And I feel a soft glowing energy in the center of my forehead, this amazing, untouchable spirit that I am. How often I ignore this energy, lost in the roles, the responsibilities, all the doing, doing, doing. But in this moment, I just let go. I let go and just be. In this moment, I stay in the experience of I, this untouchable spirit. And before me now, I emerge the form of my dear loved one in their bodily form. But as I focus on the center of their forehead, I see a beautiful light stirring with all the love, the joy, the zest for life, the unique character, filled with all the energy that they were in their life. And if there's anything I want to share from my heart with them, Let me say it now. Maybe there have been unspoken words, regrets from my heart. Can I share these feelings? I am sorry. Please forgive me. I thank you. I love you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I thank you. I love you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I thank you. I love you. And as an energy, as I just rest in the peace of this moment, thank you. So keep doing this exercise. If there are any regrets, any sorrows, just know that I can bring to balance. It's never too late. In this moment, I can emerge those beings that I need to bring closure with, and I can share from my heart, and I can settle that account of sorrow that may have persisted in my life. And it is never too late. I think we're too steeped in the physical, but understanding the spiritual gives me hope and gives me courage and gives me opportunities to make and to remedy the past. And so, moving on, how can I give the return to the soul for all that they had done or been in my life? How can I celebrate their life? Can I choose one quality or virtue that I appreciated in my loved one, that I want to live and embody in my life from now onwards? And so with this little exercise, let's do it together because of time constraints. I want you now, with the gentle music that's playing, just to settle once again into this moment, still and powerful inside. And as I remember the energy of my loved one, is this how they would want me to live? How can I give the return to the soul for all that they had done or been in my life? How can I celebrate their life by living? Can I choose one quality or virtue that I appreciated in my loved one, that I want to live and embody in my life from now onwards? As this being of energy standing in front of that amazing energy that I love so deeply, let me choose one quality. And I feel that quality like the warmth of a sun radiating from them. And standing there in front of that divine, unlimited sun, I choose now to absorb the energy embody this energy in my life. And now I feel the warmth of that energy shine bright in this moment within me. And if I have to reflect on life, what is my purpose now? Am I living it? The one that I had loved, lived with all that they had, all that they were. And in return to them for that, can I check, am I living my life currently? What are my interactions like? My enthusiasm for life and everything and everyone around me? Do I shine bright with all that I am in every second and every moment of my day? Or has the light gone out? It's time to shine bright. How can I live every moment to fulfill my purpose as my loved one did practically? Can I write this down? Can I make one promise to myself now? To live every moment of this life to fulfill my purpose as my loved one did practically. Can I note this down? A promise to myself to live every moment to fulfill my purpose as my loved one did so practically. And in this moment now, in a second, I visualize my loved one in front of a divine energy. So powerful, so full, so radiant, giving me blessings and good wishes and strength to live my purpose. I watch as energy flows from that divine, shining on them, and energy flowing from them and that divine, showering me with blessings, good wishes, and the strength to live my purpose. And the heart feels so at ease. I feel like I can and I will live my purpose. I will move on and forward. If not for the self, then for everyone and everything around me. And so, thank you. Thank you. I hope that was useful as a reflection. And so we had gone through a few reflections. And so as I shared at the beginning, the aim was not to give a lecture, but to go through some reflective exercises to really look at what matters most, how this loved one had lived, and as an eternal being continues to live and share all that they are in the world. And can I now choose to live and share all that I am with the world and to support and uplift everyone around me? And so to close, is there any questions that you would like to bring up? I know we've gone a little bit over time, but if there's any questions, we'd like to take it now before we come to a close for this afternoon. Any questions? Any comments? Any feelings of uneasiness that still remain that you want some advice with? We also have a series of workshops on our YouTube, the Brahma Kumari South Africa. And these are 1.5 hour workshops, like the workshop we had gone through, that you can go to. And we go into various topics like, gratitude, the healing power of gratitude, the 5 steps of grief, positive thinking to move on. So there's a series of 7 workshops that we had done last year when the spate of loss was extreme in South Africa. And so if you have any questions or queries, do also message our office, and we can provide more supportive material to help you on your journey of dealing with loss and grief. And so I invite you now, to have, if there's any questions or comments. And Samiksha said, thank you for this spiritual talk. It really touched my life and brought back many memories of my late mom. Thank you for helping me to move on. So thank you, Samiksha. Beautiful. So it's so important, to look at the bigger picture and think about what our loved ones want for us, and to live that. So, and it's wonderful to reflect and learn and grow and take the messages of those loved ones and take the messages those losses had brought in our life. So have a good evening, everyone. I know it's month end, so have a good weekend. If there's no further questions, I'll say thank you and good evening. So thank you, Lena. And there's also a series of commentaries that we have created for to help you. I had gone through a few reflections in this session, but we've got about 9 reflections. So do message our office, or if you put your cell phone number on the chat, I will send you the link, and it's 8 beautiful meditations to help you process this loss and grief. And you could play it. I know one of my friends said they played it every day till they felt at ease with the loss of her child. And so, there is this a tool also available, and we'd love to share it with you. It takes into consideration all the aspects of the stages of grief, and so we can share that with you. So if you put your cell number in the chat, I'll WhatsApp it to you, and otherwise you can message our head office, and we can then send that link to you. So it's audios at a good slow pace, so you can really process and emerge from that loss. Thank you. I'll send that to you, Lena and Samiksha and Malandela. So have a wonderful evening, and be patient with yourself, and be kind with yourself, and really be compassionate to the self. It all starts there, and then it's easy to support and and support those around you that have also had losses. Om Shanti. Thank you.